sailor, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? I found that working outside on my boat is getting to be a bit of a chore when I have to do epoxy work, because I'd have to run back and forth, and I keep all the epoxy and all the supplies that go with it, the epoxy fillers and mixing sticks and containers and all that, keeping inside the shop. And it's not immediately adjacent, so it's not easy to run back and forth. It just takes a lot of time. At the end of the day, everything has to be ferried back. So I decided I'd make a little a temporary epoxy material station. It can be covered at night. There's a door, it'll shut, keep the elements out. But otherwise it can just stay here, at least during the warmer weather here in Maine. Of course, wintertime you couldn't store the epoxy here. I'd have to bring it inside, but I wouldn't be able to do any epoxy work anyway. But as long as it's summer, it's just a simple box made of oriented strand board. It was a bunch of scrap stuff that I picked up for free. A few screws and a little glue, a little bit of time, and now I have this place here. I anchored it to the workbench so the wind can't blow it off, so it's on there pretty solid. It just has a single hinge for the door. The door's out of the way when it's not needed. Just a couple of pieces of stiff wire to latch it shut so the wind doesn't blow it around. And that's all there is to it. Another piece of scrap for a pull to make it easier to open the door. So this is going to make my life easier while I'm working on my boat. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I made it. It's pretty simple. And this one measures, it's about 2 feet high. It goes, the depth is about 18 inches back, and it's about 3 feet across, 36 inches. You can make, if you want to make one, you make it whatever size you want. Make them bigger, make them smaller, whatever suits you. And again, I just use scrap materials. I didn't go out and buy anything. But it will make my life a whole lot easier, and I think it could make it easier for you too if you're building a boat or another project where you're using epoxy out in your backyard and you're a good distance away from where you normally keep it. So this is how I built it. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. This is just a makeshift shelter. And it's only temporary. Now I'm going to go around the inside, and I've added some scrap pieces of wood, add them as little cleats. I'm going to screw this right into the table. And then I'll put a couple of screws on the outside going through the USB into the cleat, so it'll hold this section. Then I'll make sure this is square here and add another cleat, and so forth, working my way around. That way there, when the wind blows, weather blows up, this isn't going to blow off the table and expose all my epoxy and everything. Okay, I have these cleats in place. I have them screwed down. I also have screws going through the USB into the cleats. So now this isn't going to move around. So far so good. All I need now is a top. And then I need the front door with some hinges so I can just open it, flip it over the top, and have it open wide when I'm using the epoxy. And I know these cleats are kind of big. They take up a little real estate, but there's still plenty of room in here for what I need. And I didn't feel like ripping down smaller ones. I just used scrap pieces of wood that were sitting out here. It does the job. I'm adding this small strip of OSB underneath here. Give it a little bit more structural rigidity because the top part has to support the front door that's going to open and close here. This is my door. I'm going to clamp it into place temporarily just to hold it in position so I don't have to juggle it. I only have one hinge, but they weren't smaller hinges. I just found this one big one, so I'll put this right in the middle, and it's pretty heavy duty, so it should be able to hold that piece of OSB, and this is only a temporary thing anyway, and it should last long enough till I get the boat built. So I'm just going to line it up. I found the center line, and I'm going to mark where the screws go, and then I'll pre-drill it. And I'll put a couple of pilot screws in, and I can go ahead and mount it. I left these screws loose because I might need to do a little adjusting. I think that's going to work out just fine. I have to go find one more screw because the package was missing one. I put a screw here and I left it hanging out a bit. And I'm taking another screw with a finish washer, and I've got a very stiff piece of wire here, and I'm putting it and now I can take this stiff wire, I can wrap it around this screw like a latch. I did the same thing on the other side. Now, because the hinge is on the top, the door is not going to open, but during heavy weather, the wind's blowing around, the door would start flapping all over the place. And so this is just like a little latch on each side, and that'll keep the door secure, keep it from flopping around on me. And then the bottom part of the door, I took a piece of scrap wood. I'll show you in a second. I took that little piece of scrap wood there and stuck it on, put some screws from behind. That gives me a pull, makes it easier for me to grab it, open up the hatch here. Now all I have to do is undo this wire on each side. Just move it off to one side. There's no sense for buying expensive hardware. And now I can take this pull and I can open the door. That simple. So now, with that one hinge, I can take this top, just ease it on down, like so, and just leave it like that all day long while I'm out here working with the epoxy. And then at night I just bring it down and secure it. Very, very simple, very cheap structure to keep my epoxy and all the epoxy fillers and components and mixing cups and everything out of the elements, and I don't have to keep carrying them back and forth to the shop. So I think this is going to be a good addition. It was worth putting the time into.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor?